In the dead of night, under a moon that seemed to bleed silver, the air was thick with the whisper of something unnatural. It was on such a night that Ethan Foster clawed his way out of the earth, his grave disturbed by forces unknown. Guided by a rage that ignited his cold, dead heart, Ethan's sole purpose was clear: to exact vengeance on the 7 who brutally ended his life and that of his beloved, Elena. Ethan once lived a simple life, content in his modest happiness with Elena. They were to be wed beneath the ancient oak that stood sentinel over their village, a place they believed sheltered their dreams. However, dreams turned to dust when 7 men, driven by greed and envy, ambushed them. Ethan's eyes glazed over with horror as his last sight was Elena's lifeless body sinking into darkness. Resurrected, his skin ashen and eyes hollow, Ethan was drawn first to the home of Marcus, the leader who orchestrated their deaths. Marcus was a man tormented by his own guilt, haunted by the specter of his actions. His candlelit chambers flickered ominously as the shadows cast by Ethan's return crept up his walls. Without a whisper, without a chance to plead, Ethan took his life, leaving Marcus's face twisted in terror. As each day waned, Ethan moved with a spectral grace, inevitability on his side. The second was Thomas, who lived in constant denial of his betrayal. He found no solace, even in death's silent embrace, when Ethan came calling. Thomas's end was swift, lost within the echoes of his cries that none but the shadows would hear. The brothers, David and Sam, were next, unrepentant and arrogant in their shared evil. They laughed that afternoon, not realizing their laughter marked the last they would share. As twilight descended, they met their doom, mouths agape in eternal screams. For down, disquiet as their only memorial, Ethan's fury only grew, undeterred by any force, supernatural or earthly, that stood in his path. Peter, cunning and clever, tried to flee, whispered warnings brushing past him unnoticed by hairs standing on end. His cleverness was no match for Ethan's persistence, and the 5th man's eyes soon mirrored the fear he sowed. Sarah, the only woman among them, had moved far away to escape the memories that plagued her nights. But distance was no barrier for Ethan. Her pleas were ghosts themselves as she reached out in vain, a cold hand silencing her protests. Finally, the 7th, Jonathan. Cowardly and selfish, he lingered at the edges of humanity's morality. Jonathan, however, foresaw Ethan's return, plagued by dreams that left his nights sleepless. Yet no amount of awareness prepared him for the reality of vengeance carried by a man back from his grave. Jonathan's end marked the final chapter of Ethan's journey. With his mission complete, Ethan stood once more beneath the ancient oak. There, in the shadows and whispers of the wind, he planted a seed in the earth, a symbol of love taken too soon, a promise in the darkness. Though the soil beneath him still resonated with the echoes of revenge, Ethan sensed peace at last. When the morn found Ethan's grave, it lay undisturbed, his body returned, at peace with the world he had so violently avenged.